This podcast right here is just for entertainment purposes. I am not a medical doctor, not a nutritionist, or a personal trainer. I am barely fucking qualified to operate a toaster. As Ruth Langmore so wisely said, I don't know shit about fuck, so don't trust me, don't listen to me. We're here just for shits and giggles. And if you trust me with health advice, then that's just natural selection at work. Don't do drugs, always listen to your GP. And with that disclaimer out of the way, let's get started.
Welcome to another episode of the OptiCast with me, Nathan.
And me, Aubrey.
The OptiCast is the Optimization Lab podcast where we specialize on optimizing every facet of the human experience and nailing introductions. Today we're going to go back to discussing push phases where we left off from the previous discussion. So without further ado, let's not jump straight into it, and let's do a little bit more and just ask, how has your push phase been for the past 4 weeks? Just good? Any major changes or anything?
It's been going well. It's almost felt kind of like a maintenance phase in a sort of kind of way.
Even though your body weight went up?
Even though my body weight went up. So I guess my calories went up some, and then my training, well, you just changed my sets to be,
I changed your training split entirely, not just your sets.
well, today, yes. But
Yeah.
as far as what I've been doing for the past 4 weeks,
Oh,
you lowered rep ranges and started
Correct.
bringing up, so I could start bringing weight up a little bit more. So
Yep.
I was doing like really high reps, like 15 to 20 was for most things. And then some leg things would get up to like 30. And so now I'm back down to like 10 to 12
yeah.
for most things.
And we were doing that because her estrogen was pretty low. Low estrogen tends to deplete your body of water, which tends to cause a lot of joint pain. So her estrogen was pretty low, so we raised the rep ranges just as a strategy to be able to mitigate some of that joint discomfort. And now that we don't have that issue anymore, we are lowering the rep ranges again. We actually are starting next week. We're starting a couple of supplements to stabilize your estrogen levels a little bit more as well. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, other than that, I've been liking the food, the extra food.
Yeah.
But I mean, I haven't been super starving or anything, but I can still eat all of my meals. I don't feel like
Yep.
hyper focused on food or
Yeah.
anything. It's been comfortable, and my exercises, I keep going up in, well, I reduced the reps, but I keep going up in weight
Good.
and reps, and everything just keeps increasing from the week prior.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Good. Yeah, you're adapting. Yeah. Well, for me, it's been a little bit different. My hunger has been going up. So I've raised food, but I've just been hungrier and hungrier and hungrier. I'm eating 4,000 calories a day now. So I made a couple of changes to account for that. I have raised my veggies from 100 grams to 250 grams per meal. And I've also changed, hello there. I've also changed one of the meals. They used to be this banana chocolate protein, like grilled banana sandwich or something
My
that I used to
recipe.
make. My recipe, she stole it from me, but that's okay. I don't hold grudges,
Nope, the
but I do.
protein
But
thing
definitely my
was
idea.
definitely me.
Definitely my idea. Don't listen to her. But in any case, it's okay. It's totally fine. That's mine, and she thinks it's hers. I've substituted that meal for now being, instead of those two sandwiches, I still have the banana and MRE chocolate. you don't believe me.
Or maybe we both just have the same boring ideas.
Nope.
And they're
I
not
remember
novel at all.
I was as a kite, and
You
I
have
made
never, the
that meal.
MRE part, you did not have it that time. That time it was just banana, and then I added the whole encrusting it with cinnamon sugar on the outside.
Okay, so you appropriated my recipe and you made it into something else.
Yes, just
Okay.
like Brazilians make all the food of the whole world
That's exactly
better.
what I was thinking about, actually.
The inner Brazilian coming out.
Okay. So in any case, so I substitute, instead of those two sandwiches, I'm now eating a full bag of broccoli with
yeah.
barbecue sauce, 300 grams of potatoes, and then the banana in the thing, which ends up being the same amount of calories as having 4 slices of sourdough bread. So I can have 250 grams of broccoli, 300 grams of potatoes for the equivalent of 100 grams of sourdough.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm very full right now. I'm not super hungry. It's not really the hunger that's been the issue. It's the issue of the, like, I just want to eat something other than my diet food, like the cravings and stuff. but it's all good because we've been maintaining it, so it's all fine. And right now, I don't remember what weight I said that I was when we talked last time, but oh yeah, I was 184 pounds. It's been 4 weeks, and I gained another 10 pounds, so I'm 195 pounds as of today.
I gained, I think, 4 pounds, 3 pounds.
2 pounds. You're like 146 right now, 47.
I've been 148 past
Oh
few days.
shit! So yeah, 2 pounds.
Maybe I
Yeah,
went up too quickly.
not really. That's actually pretty conservative, which makes sense. And for me, it went up so fast, but it's like I'm regaining muscle that I had lost. So it's still good. Looking at my photos, I'm still lean and everything is holding pretty well. So it's all good. And there was that one change in my protocol that I also changed one of the supplements because it was just messing up my sleep and my mood. So I've gotten rid of it. It was a 19-nor compound, which it has that effect on certain people. I never recognized that effect on me before. Like it's just not something that I noticed. Noticed it now. And I thought it was testosterone because I've never used testosterone in such high dose, but it wasn't. It was definitely that. So yeah, nandrolone, at least a fast-acting ester. It's not something that I'm going to be keeping it for me right now. So yeah.
So you've been able to sleep better?
Oh yeah, I'm
And
sleeping
feeling
good.
better.
Yeah, I'm sleeping good.
Overall mood, I know, is better.
Yeah,
but
my mood is better, and I'm definitely sleep is so much better. And we're still using less doses than before. Still, and now another change was that I was doing lower sets, so lower volume, because of fatigue. So I assumed that my fatigue was caused by training. And after a deload, after taking some days off the gym, I noticed that my fatigue was pretty much the same. So it wasn't that. And then my fatigue would get better after a couple of days of not working. And I'm like, well, if my fatigue comes from working, then that's not something that I can change. So instead of that, I'm doing high volume training and now doing less intense training. So frequency is the same, push-pull legs, and the volume is significantly higher. Like, I don't think I've ever done this high volume before. I mean, I have, but I was getting injured all the time because I was also up in the intensity back when I was in college. But yeah, right now doing about 115 sets per week, per 8-day cycle, to be precise. But yeah, it's 20 sets per session. But because the intensity is not so high up, I'm able to do just like not have to have so many rest times that are like so long. So it's just been working pretty well, and I'm enjoying spending more time at the gym. It's like an hour and a half per training session. Makes me pretty happy. And I also started training earlier in the day, which is not something that I've done for a really long time. But I find that not breaking my work day works better. You know, not like, you know, it works if I do like 1 hour tasks, so I can get done with like all of my household and like life things that I need to do in that 1 hour, head to the gym. And then after that, I can just, you know, do all of my work, like just sit down and just work nonstop. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty good. So let's jump into our questions now without actual further ado.
How do you decide a training split for a push phase?
Yeah, so the first one is that body assessment that we talked about previously, of just figuring out what the weak points are so that we can add volume, allocate towards the weak points, then a little bit less to the middle of the road points, and then the body parts that you're pretty good, just allocate the least amount of volume. And then from that, just assess what the volume tolerance overall is for that person. So if that person is a person that trains very intensely, you have to give them less volume. And if it's a person that just doesn't go there, there are some people that no matter how much you tell them, like, dude, go balls to the walls, they are just...
Yeah.
very calm and collected. Those types of people, they need way more volume, like way, way, way more volume. You tell them like, dude, I gave you like fucking 15 sets of HIIT for you to do at the end of your cardio, and I want to see you dying, and you never complain, not even once. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
easy to tell. This person cannot if there was a gun to their head, they would not be able to save their own lives to raise the intensity. Not there's anything wrong with that, but just in general with clients that are starting out, I generally start them a little bit different. So I decide their volume based on what's already good. We enhance that. So if their chest is good, we add volume to their chest. If their shoulders are good, we add volume to the shoulders and stuff like that, because we want to create that like a better physique like out of the gate, which just like gives you a little bit more of a a boost, yeah. So it keeps you going. And then we always have the volume a little bit lower because we're focusing on execution and we're focusing on teaching intensity. So once we get those things out of the way, then it's time that we can start catering towards their their psychology and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the goal of a push phase?
Okay, so first of all, it's a maximum accrual of muscle tissue within your needs and goals. So we figure out what is that like body that you're aiming for, and then we try to add as much muscle tissue there as possible. So to do that, we need to have a limitation of fat gain. So that's what we do as like, that's a second goal, is to have as little body fat accrued for your goals within that period of time. So if you are aiming to gain, 5 pounds over the course of your first year of lifting, we don't have to add virtually any fat on you. But if your goal is to actually become about as big as possible, we have to add more fat, because we know from the studies that even though we don't need body fat to be able to gain muscle, we see the people that accrued more body fat accruing more muscle. So if that's the goal, then adding a little bit more body fat actually does make sense. This is something that I differ from the science community, so to speak, in that they are very adamant, and I agree that we do not need to add body fat tissue to gain muscle, but the higher rates of gain do come with a price, and the price being that body fat. But all of this can only be done if the person is adhering to the fucking plan from the get-go, because if they're not, you just are always chasing down like what to do. So like if there are ways to work with this, right? Like, so for me, I noticed that like I needed extra meals during the day because I was fucking hungry. Normally people are just gonna like go ahead and eat. What I did is I added snacks. So a snack would be like 300 grams of green beans. Like, that's a snack, right? Like, it's how many calories? It's like 40 or 80. It's like 80 calories.
Yeah.
So that's a small snack, but that's the equivalent of having like one Rice Krispies treat, which is like nothing, right? So you can eat like 12 of those and have like all of your calories for the day. So it just have to have that in mind. That is, the goal is adding as much muscle tissue, but also as little body fat as possible. Next, we want to maintain waist control throughout the entirety of the push phase. A smaller waist creates the illusion of a bigger physique. So you have to maintain that. And to do that, we have to do daily vacuums, and we also have to control the GI health. So like what I'm doing right now of adding a fuck ton of food, that's not the best to maintain a small waist, but I do my vacuums every single day, and I'm able to control them very, very well. When I look at my photos, my waist is not blowing out in any way, shape, or form. Plus, I'm controlling my abs like throughout the day. So like right now, I'm actually cognizant of where my abs are, and I'm holding them in. I've been holding them in like throughout the entirety of the time that I've been speaking here. So that's another thing that we keep in there for people who are a little bit more advanced and can actually dedicate a little bit more time to this. We maintain waist control as well. Next, we want to mitigate the health impacts that can be caused by the push phase. So if we are someone that's going to be adding more body fat, we do more cardio. If it's someone that's going to be enhanced, then it's going to be using PEDs. In this case, we need to do more cardio. We need to maintain better sources of food. We also need to have more supplements in place to be able to mitigate some of those health detriments that we have, because a healthy body is a body that grows best. We also want to, in this phase, have as much injury prevention as possible. Now, there's no such thing in the literature as prehab, like preventing injury. You can't really do that. The idea of prehab is based on an assumption that like, oh, if you do this movement in this way, you create an injury. But in reality, when you look at the biosocial model, you have so many different causes. Literally, a fight that you have with your spouse, or like your job, or like the traffic, or the beliefs that were instigated in you from the time that your grandparents were alive, all of those things contribute towards the injury that you could be experiencing right now. And
That's
that
crazy.
pain could have something to do with an actual injury. It could also have nothing to do with the actual injury. Like you could have no, like if you were to do all of the imaging in the world, you could find that you have no issue whatsoever, but you still feel pain, just because pain is a multifactorial thing. So with that being said, we want to try to mitigate pain as much as possible. So if we can afford to live in no pain, then we should do that. So that means by adding anti-inflammatory compounds like perhaps curcumin C3, or perhaps peptides like KPV, but also it could just be by finding machines that actually align with your body. There's some machines that just don't fucking work with you, and if you keep trying to make that machine work with you, it's not going to work. There's a reason why I go to 2 gyms. Like I need 2 machines from the other gym, but I have to pay the price, which comes in the form of an actual monthly fee. Because if I do it at my primary gym, it doesn't really work. I end up hurt every single fucking time, no exceptions. So there's no point in like doing that. So that's what I mean by injury prevention, is you finding the things that actually work for you, and you do those things and not the things that don't.
And from a client's perspective, injury prevention comes in the form of communicating fast, like we've talked about.
Communicating fast.
So I will communicate, like on pendulum squat, I have historically had knee pain. Or even I used to have knee pain on seated hamstring curls. Not even the laying ones. On the seated hamstring curls, I would have knee pain. And then I also had knee pain on seated calf raises. But each of the times that I experienced that, I immediately sent a message, while I was there at the gym, and figured out a solution, which for me was just I just now do standing calf raises. I do high rep leg extensions before I do pendulum squats. And then hamstring curls, I actually don't.
It was actually lying hamstring curls. I have a video of me teaching you how to do it, and it was
when I used to work at home.
Oh no, but at Olympus, I have a video of you at Olympus. It was your feet position. So your feet used to be inwards. We open it up a little bit more, and then you had no pain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it mainly seated.
Oh, this one here? It might have just gone away.
I think it just was too heavy for what I needed at the time. But yeah, I don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
So communicate with your
communicate with your coach. And also the other thing is the video reviews. Because in the video reviews, I'm able to tell whether something is going to go to shit or is not. So that's another reason why every single week I look at every single one of the videos you guys submit. Because it is very important that we find the best way to do this exercise for you. And the best way is for the goal of like having the best push phase as possible, which includes the injury prevention, but it also includes adding as much muscle tissue as possible. And we do that by adding muscle tissue to the body parts that we actually want. So like I've made a video before, it's on Instagram, on me doing a chest supported row. And it's like, what muscle am I targeting? Because like back, it's not a fucking muscle, it's an area. So I could do a chest supported row to target my lats. I could do it in a way to target the middle of my back and my traps. I could do it in a way to track my rhomboids and my fucking rear delts. So when you see something on your program, don't just assume it's like, oh, it's a chest piece. So like, oh yeah, I know what to do. It's like, you probably don't. Like, it's something that I struggle with, and it's something that people will always wrestle with, because finding the exact way to do an exercise, it's hard, right? So like, for instance, an exercise that I see people doing wrong a lot is if they're targeting the lats and they're doing a single arm row, they will just pull it here, and you see their scapula just moving so much, when in reality, it's less of a pulling motion and it's more of a pressing down motion, and just like, yeah, a row, right? So like, instead of lining up here with the cable here, I actually lean sideways, and then I pull, and I'm trying to like scrape the seat pad.
Like
yeah, exactly.
Almost.
Yep, and you come all the way to the point that your scapula doesn't move, and you let go until the point that you hold the tension there, because tension is, mechanical tension is the primary driver of hypertrophy. So we keep the tension there. So it's like, that's just one example of like, oh shit, there's like way more to it than just moving weight around. It's like, yeah, there is more to it than just moving weight around. And all of this plays in the last part of it, which is athlete development. We want to develop this person in the push phase so that this person can have a better, contest prep or a fat loss phase or just an overall life experience as a whole. This means that their execution is better, that they learn how to navigate challenges around food, meal timing, around like stress from work and around like schedule changes and things like that, but also developing mental fortitude of just one person that knows how to say no, a person that knows how to say yes, a person that can distance themselves from their thoughts and things like that and just be able to actually navigate life as a whole, as a complete athlete, so to speak, and also learns to manage their schedule and manage their life as a whole. So like that's a push phase. It's like, oh, it's to grow. But as you can tell, like there's way more to it that goes into a successful push phase than not. Like not a lot of people are going to finish, like you finish the first part of your push phase and you're ready to continuing it. Whereas a lot of people, they finish the first part and it's like they've gained so much body fat already, or they're so beat up, their joints and everything, that they can't go to another one. They need to do a health phase, or they need to do another mini cut. And it's like you take one step forward, two steps back, or even if it's two steps forwards, one step back, you could just take 1.5 steps forward, period, and then continue walking forward, So, yeah.
Yeah, and it comes from there was one point where after we got back from Brazil where it was like, okay, that check-in was a little bit hard to hear, but it was almost like you were about to stop the push phase.
I was.
You were about to just go straight into a maintenance, and I was like, I don't want to stop. Like I wanted to have made so much more progress than I made, and I really didn't want to. So you're like, let's do one more week, and then like see where we're at. I'm like, okay, I was motivated to not stop. So it kind of kicked my butt into gear again. And I had done a pretty good job up until going to Brazil, but the 2 weeks there, it was just hard to maintain. And so I would have done, if you would have said, okay, we're going to do maintenance or whatever, I would have done whatever you said. But I was very glad that we kept going and that I'm literally still working on it.
Yeah. In a few more weeks, you'll be back again.
What rate should a growth phase be?
I think we already answered this one, so it's going to be very quickly. For advanced athletes as well as natural athletes, you want to aim for 0.25% body weight increase a week. For people who are beginners or enhanced, you can push closer to that, like 1%, from 0.5 to 1%, especially in the beginning of a push phase. If you are enhanced and you just add a new compounds or something like that. But in reality, like if you're 200 pounds and you're adding 2 pounds a week, you're not getting 2 pounds of muscle, man. Like if you go 0.5, you're not adding 1 pound of muscle a week. Like 1 pound of muscle is a 3,500 calorie surplus. And in reality, if we're gonna do 10 pounds per year, that's 35,000 calories extra over the course of 365 days. That's crazy, because that's not a lot of food. It's really not a lot of food. So it's a slow process, because muscle building is a slow process. But also there's something to be said about the people who freak out when they see the scale increase, and this goes mainly for women. But there are some guys that like struggle with this as well. I've been that way, where I'm like, ooh, it's like 0.25, it's 0.30, 0.40. And I'm like, I think it's too fast. And it's like, chill, just relax. Because if we're still within that 0.25 to 0.5, even if it's in the beginning is like 0.8 or something like that, we're talking about an average over the course of the entirety of the push phase. Once you get to the end of it, that shit slows down. It slows down significantly. And we're primarily guided by the visuals, not by what we're seeing on the scale. So we also have to recognize that like the visuals could be skewed by a variety of things. The majority of people who are not athletes, and even a lot of athletes, they're not having the same food every day. And their like off-plan meal, or their untracked meal, or their cheat meal, whatever you want to call it, it's usually something different every time, and it comes at a different time of the week every time, and it depends when you do it. Your average could change, and like what type of food you eat. Like I know, I had Doritos this week, and it's been a really long fucking time, but I woke up 4.5 pounds heavier the day after. and I had eaten half a bag of Doritos. That's it. And it all fit within my calories and everything. But I woke up 4.5 pounds heavier. Like, what the fuck, man? The scale went all the way to 200, and then it was like, whoa, what the fuck? I'm 195 right now. Like, there's no way I could be 200. But if you are having something different every time, like when I had pizza, the pizza that we made, I woke up, I think, like 2 pounds heavier. So there's a big discrepancy there already. Like, we need to be guided by more things and use as many guiding posts as we can so that we're not just being sort of fooled by either the visuals or by the scale weight or anything like that.
What principles do you follow in a push phase to make sure muscle building is the focus and you're not putting on excessive fat?
Yeah, so we already answered that a little bit, but one, you are guided by the visuals primarily. Two, you are analyzing week to week. You don't want to see a body fat increase. Actually, like 2 to 3 weeks, I don't want to see body fat increases. I want to not be able to tell that you put on body fat. That's basically like how I like to go. I like to see that you're not getting softer. Now, it's hard because as you get better at analyzing photos, you can recognize the softness so much sooner, but you also have to be realistic with the fact that, like, if we need to add on weight, like we're gonna get softer, and we can rinse that off later down the road in any case. We also want to do things like maintaining GH throughout this entire process, just so we can limit fat gain. It has a pretty good role. I've been playing lately with yohimbine in the off season, and I can't tell if it's doing anything with regards to like maintaining body fat. I don't see a difference. And same thing with Reda. I haven't really seen a difference in like how easier it is for me to put on fat or not. Now, like once a week, I eat like 7,000 calories. So it could just be because, it's like a fuck ton of food anyways. But I really don't think it's doing that much. I think growth hormone is like on a level of its own compared to these two other compounds. And then lastly is just, again, adherence to the plan. This is hard to hear, but your push phase is what dictates how well you're going to look once you're lean. In bodybuilding, we say that shows are won in the off season, not in the contest prep, which in real life, it also means like the way you're going to look at the beach is going to depend entirely on what you're doing right now, like during the winter. And it's not a cut. Like your abs are going to be built now. They're not going to be built later. So if we have a lot of runway, if we don't need to cut so hard later down the road, then it's good. But how can you do that? You have to have what I call urgency on the day-to-day execution. So basically, something that I've gotten from AA, which is like just today, you have to focus on not relapsing. Tomorrow, we don't give a shit. Like, we don't know anything about tomorrow. We don't care about yesterday. Those days don't exist. It's just imaginary. Today, you can't relapse. That's the only thing that matters. The idea is like, hey, today is your photo shoot. Today is the day that you're going to step on stage. Like, today is the day that you're going to send that photo to the chick that you're into it or something like that. It's like, if you have that mentality, it's so much easier to actually execute correctly. And it's something that I've been thinking about a lot because it's been, man, the past few weeks has just been fucking hard for me to stay on track. And I've just been having to like think like, okay, man, like tomorrow, maybe, who knows, right? But today, you just got to be strict. You just got to maintain this thing. And, there are other things that I've been, doing as well on top of this. It's like I know for a fact that if I eat something, it just makes me want to eat more. It doesn't satisfy my hunger. It's literally an addict mentality, right? It's like you take one puff and it's like now you want 14 of them. You want to smoke until you OD. That's basically the idea. You maintain the urgency on the day-to-day, but you have patience and you look at the long-term goal. Long-term goal is to add as little body fat as possible, as much muscle as possible. So that's how we do it.
What is the decision-making process when you're deciding to move someone to a different phase, and what specifically might you take into account?
Very good question. Moving to a push phase, it's like, okay, we reached a level of body fat that were pretty low, and health metrics are good. So we are able to go there. We don't have any joint pain. We don't have any sleep issues. Digestion is good. We're ready to go to a push phase. To a health is the opposite. Health has gone to shit. Blood markers are bad. Blood pressure is up. Insulin sensitivity is in the trash. Your GI is all fucked up. You can't stand food anymore. Your joints are beat up and your sleep is shit. Okay, it's time for you to actually like take care of your health. Just spend some time washing off this fatigue and then just doing, just getting back on track.
Maintaining,
Yeah. To cut, your body fat levels are higher than desired. Simple, right? So it's like a thing that I struggle personally is I want to be lean all the fucking time, right? I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I'm not as lean. But am I like not as lean because of my standards, or am I not as lean because we actually reached the point where it's unproductive to stay this fat? Okay, it's not the latter. So you just continue doing this. But that's basically the process. And like balancing the client goals versus their readiness is something that's very challenging. Like sometimes you have a client that's like, hey, I'm ready to go on to the next phase. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to move up. And this can be a predictor of fatigue and burnout. So it's important to actually listen to these things. But at the same time, it's like just because you're ready for a push phase does not mean you're lean enough. Just because your wife is complaining about you being too lean and cranky doesn't mean that it's time for you to go on a push phase. Or just because you are, feeling a little bit fluffy and you're uncomfortable, it doesn't mean it's time to cut. So, like, managing that, like, that dynamic is something that's very difficult, especially because you never know how people are going to respond. And you have to, as a coach, you have to do what's best for the client, and you have to just expose yourself and just be like, I know you want to do this, but I really think it would be best for you if you just didn't right now. So it's hard to do that, but it's something that has to be done. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that's the point of like having a coach who knows more and can have that objective or objective.
Yeah, an objective look. The goal is for us to pull as much as possible from that person, right? So if they're trying to grow, we're going to get as much growth from them as possible. So they might on the day-to-day feel like, oh, I need to cut. You as a coach, remember that their goal is to grow. So you have to keep them on that track,
And I think what's interesting from my experience as your client is that you will catch things that I've like expressed over the course of 3 weeks from my check-ins. And I typically don't have an opinion like, okay, I'm ready for whatever. Like, I don't think that way. But you will say, okay, now we're going to start doing this. And then I realize, oh, yeah, he's right. Like, I have been pretty fatigued the last few weeks or whatever. And so you really do pay attention to what is written in those, in the check-ins. And I think that my only thing that I've had to deal with is like the expectation of like, okay, I thought we were going to keep doing push phase, but then I feel like I've done something that's fucked it up. And so now, sorry, you don't get to, it was like a privilege taken away from a kid,
Mm-hmm.
It's like, now you don't get to do it. Mm-hmm. And that's almost how it felt before the last push phase, which I'm like, I don't know if that's a healthy response or not. To be like, oh my gosh, I'm about to fail, because that's not really the case. I mean, life happened, right?
Life happens. That's the case.
And it's not like I was being undisciplined or something.
Yeah.
But it is where you just have to start trusting your coach. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting that you do pay attention to what's said.
Yeah.
And make decisions.
On that note, I also do think that there is something to be said about, like, because you said, like, oh, it wasn't that I was undisciplined. But if you were to think about your previous phase, you should always be able to tell, like, I could have done this, and that better. So, like,
100%.
Life got in the way. Life got in the way when I was in Brazil on my surgery and things like that. And I was like, what should I have done? Okay, I needed more accountability, and I should not have lowered my doses as much as I did. And I should not have moved to 3 times a week training. I should have continued at 4 or 5 times a week training. I recognize that would be a better approach. So, like, for the next time that something like this happens, I already know what my approach is going to be. Like I had surgery on my chest, should have gone to the gym to do calves. Just calves. Just fucking calves.
I should have gone to the gym more frequently as well. And I think I should have, like, planned out, because I was only there for 2 weeks, but I should have planned out, okay, this day, I'm going to the gym. This is like what I'm eating,
Yeah.
Which it's like, if I was to go on another 2-week trip, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
If that exact same circumstance was to happen again, I honestly doubt that I would do things differently, just because it was such an out of the box thing. But I agree with you that there's always stuff to learn. I just have to separate that whole failure thing with no. Like this is the whole point. He's supposed to tell you which phases to start and when to end and whatever. And so whenever you transition into a different one, it doesn't mean that you're failing. It means you're doing your program,
Yeah. I had one client, shout out to Eric, like a while ago, that he wasn't doing so well, and then he wanted to just do a fat loss phase, but it was just living situation was just very complicated. And I said, no, let's not do that. Let's do a maintenance phase. Let's just take care of your health. Just spend time relaxing and all of this type of stuff. And he's doing well. And he trusted the process, and it's going to be best for him. Because when his life situation gets back on track, then, it's time to move up again, and
nice.
it's gonna work out. So just trusting that process and trusting that this person, your coach has your best interest in mind. It's very, very important, and it's hard. It's hard because nowadays, if you don't just agree with whatever people fucking want, they leave. You see this a lot in like females who are enhanced. If if they come to you with the craziest fucking cycles and you say, I'm not going to do that for you, they just go, okay, I'll go to someone else. So, a lot of people's policies are like, hey, I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to do whatever the fuck you want. And I agree with that. There are certain things that it's like, I don't want death in my hands. I don't want someone dying on me. But like to a less, extreme example, it's like, we're trying to get you to be the best person you can be, man. Like, let's not open hand of that. Let's not give up on that. Like, that's the most important thing.
The thing is, you will accept someone's goals, but you won't necessarily accept someone's method.
Exactly. That's a good way of saying it.
The whole point is for you to create the method, or to guide the method. And so
how we get there.
The goals, So if somebody says, I want to gain 20 pounds of muscle in the next year or whatever, then you are going to create a method if you think it's even possible. And if you don't think it's possible,
no, it's hard
honest,
because like if someone comes to me and they say, I want to put on 20 pounds of muscle in the next year, I'd be like, okay, so we're going to start with testosterone, then we're going to move to this, and we're going to move to that. And then the person will say something like, oh no, I don't do needles, which is such a bitch thing to say because it's like,
guys though?
Yeah. Because it's like,
guys.
dog, like just,
why?
I don't understand.
Dude, they're
but
2
it's like,
years old.
if it's a pill, you would do it. So people would you would take DNP, but you wouldn't take fucking testosterone. But in any case, and then you tell the person, it's like, okay, this is what it takes to get to your goal. And they're like, no, I don't want to do that. It was like, okay, so you're not going to get to your goal. So what is your goal? Well, I guess I just want to grow a little bit. And it was like, okay, like if you just want to grow a little bit, then sure. But like, why are we working together? I thought you had like better aspirations. Did you just like, once you realize how much your goal was going to cost, you just give up? Like, that's such a weak move, man. Like, fucking stick to your goals. Like the shit you say you want. Like if you want to be be the biggest person in the room, to be a person that like demands like fucking attention and stuff like that when you walk into any room, it's gonna come with some sacrifices. And don't think that like we enjoy the needles or something like that. Is like it gets old very fast, man. It gets very old. So are you doing the shit daily? I don't know how it is to you, but I just where else the fuck am I gonna pin? Like you're pinning like this much oil. I'm pinning like a full syringe, and it's like, fuck, man. Like, like I have like balls in my shoulders and my glutes and my like everywhere. It's just kind of uncomfortable. And the first time that I injected, it was actually a friend of mine that injected for me because I was just bitching the fuck out. I was not comfortable doing that, so I had her do it in the hallway of my parents' house. Just did it on my glutes, and it was fine. But I've had times that I almost passed out from injections and things like that.
Jeez.
Like,
I've never had any of these experiences. It's always been
fine. You also never had someone send you like Tren in the mail and say, I made this just for you, but it looks super sketch, and you inject and you start like, what the fuck is happening? Like, this is so weird and stuff like that. And then,
I wasn't.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
this person gets banned from a forum because apparently they
Mm.
did that with other people as well, and you're just freaking out because you're just a teenager and you can't tell anyone or anything like that. But that's just a theoretical example. That's not as specific as to be real. So.
Um, yeah,
Well, yeah.
but going back to the whole goals thing, I do think though that there's likely a lot of people, myself included, that would come to you and say, okay, I want to put on 20 pounds of muscle. But they don't know what they're saying, and they're actually thinking that the conversation you're having is not, okay, since I know you've been thinking about this for 6 months and you've done research and know it's possible and you've really been like contemplating and like looking into your inner self to see what you want for the next 5 years of your life, then give me your goal. Like they're thinking,
Yeah.
oh, this guy's going to help me get fit. And so like, yeah, 20 pounds of muscle, but it's really just starting the conversation about their
Yeah,
goal.
I have like people
'Cause
like every
but
time I'll take someone in and they're like, "Oh, I think I need to lose like 10 pounds," and I'm like, "You probably need to lose 25." I look at your photos, you need to lose 40. That's probably not going to happen in 3 months. Sorry, like probably not going to happen in 3 months. You know?
yeah, but I think that you are in a unique role where you can help people define what their goals are.
Uh-huh.
And I do think that
Find
the
what's
question of like,
realistic.
what's your goal? And then you kind of figure out through talking to them what's their tolerance, their risk tolerance, their, what was the other thing?
Yeah,
You
like
just mentioned.
well, their risk tolerance, their risk profile. Like
Yeah,
they're
there's
going like how realistic it is, but basically
how
we
much
start
time do
like
they have to train?
yeah, it's like well, all of this is like we start painting a picture together of what is actually achievable, like what is that we can actually achieve.
Science,
Yeah, yeah.
helps also.
But we had this conversation when you came to me and you were like, I want to put on more muscle, I want to grow, I want to do this thing, and what did I do? I'm like, oh fuck yeah, just fucking take drugs, let's do it. Like I'm like, okay, here's what this means, just so you know. It means that the side effects that you had, you're probably going to have them to a larger extent. It means that it could influence your fertility in this way and all this type of stuff. That's why it pisses me the fuck off when people act like, oh, because Nathan is this like tattooed bald guy that just, fucking smokes weed and like to, shoot and fucking, do and shit. It's like this irresponsible person or stuff like that. I'm like, bro, I'm always pulling people down to earth. I'm always the one who's like, let's take this slow. Let's not sacrifice like our whole lives for the sake of the next 10 weeks. Let's think with our head now. Let's scale back a little bit. Let's do this right. Like, oh, you've been thinking about testosterone. Cool, man. Let's on the next phase, let's think about it, and then let's talk a little bit about this. Look up some stuff online, and then let's talk about it. Buy it from someone that's reputable, and then once we do it, don't just start this shit. Let's start very slow. We do this for X amount of weeks, then we get blood work, we reassess, we see where you're at. Like, it's such a careful and slow thing that it's like it's legit offensive when people act like just because of the way that I look or like what they have the stereotypes about the shit that I do that it's a like an irresponsible person or something like that.
And what's crazy is the more and more that we talk to people within the bodybuilding industry specifically,
The clearer it
they
is.
are like, yeah, it's so clear that you are careful and that you are very deliberate, and that it is a lot of here's the information, now go and take time to digest it. Like you almost force, it's part of the program for your client to take time to think about it.
Yeah.
And then to give you their response, and then you give them your response, and then they take more time to go think about it. It's just very deliberate, and it always ends up in the hands of the client ultimately. But like you were saying, you're not going to you're not pushing them to do something, but you have your limits too. Like if you think something's an idiotic idea, you're not going to just be like, well, it's your body, go for it.
Yeah, I don't do that. And I would make more money if I did that. If I did that, I would make more money. I would have more transformation pictures. I would have more testimonies and all this type of shit. But at the end of the day, like, I care about people too much to do that. I legitimately care for my clients and their well-being and how they're doing. Like today, I was prepping my food and I was thinking like, what am I going to call this meal? I'm going to call it I'm not going to fuck this up when I know that, Ryan is not fucking up, when I know that Joey is not fucking up. Like, I can't, because I have people with me, right? And these are my clients. And a lot of people say, like, hey, don't get emotionally attached to your clients. True, because you will get fucking burned and you will get fucking toasted. But C.S. Lewis also said that, like, if you want to live a safe life, then don't love, because love requires vulnerability, and vulnerability means you will be hurt. So I rather have the, possibility that I'm going to get hurt and I'm going to get burned. And it happens. It happened this year. It will happen again, of just people that are just trying to take the best of you, and people that just don't give you a chance to fix your mistakes or something like that. And it's like, you know what, man, it's okay, because the good people make it all worth it.
Yep.
It's the growth that I see in those people. It makes it all worth it for me.
Yeah, I think that you believe in your clients, and you also believe in the process. Like, there's, I don't know, just the whole, you're not going to make somebody do something that you don't think is right. You're not going to...
Or something that I think that they could regret in the future.
Yeah, it's just so comprehensive, I think. And you personally will not make decisions based on poor information or things that aren't proven or whatever, You talk about strict adherence, but you don't give more freedom during push phases to clients?
So I yes, but it's not because of what I do. When you have higher calories, you have more food choices. So just by that, it's easier to, like, you don't need me to give you a day off or something like that. But also, everyone pretty much gets a meal a week that they can eat whatever the fuck they want within the calories that they have. So comes at a cost, right? So you can't eat more food on a day-to-day basis. So for people that are hungrier day-to-day, it's not a good idea. But for people that are not so hungry and they have this social aspect that they do every week or something like that, it works for them. So it's like, hey, you have one day a week that's like 700 calories that you get to eat more. It's instead of me adding 100 calories per day, 100 calories per day could be an extra like 300 grams of vegetables. Well, 350, almost 400 grams of vegetables. Like, it's a good amount of food, man. That's 100 grams of food per meal. But if you don't need that, you're pretty satisfied with it and stuff, and you like to go out for beer or pizza or something like that once a week, then fucking have at it. So it's almost like a byproduct of the phase, just allows you to do that more easily. Plus, pretty much everyone gets a meal to just enjoy life once a week anyway. So
yeah, and this question, give more freedom to your clients. What do you mean more freedom? Like, define that. Like, what are you looking for?
Yeah, because like you have you have the freedom to pursue your goals, man. Like, you have the freedom to actually become the person you want to become. So I understand that can sound a little bit too restrictive at times, but like, I have times that I'm just like, I've said this to you, like, oh yeah, but fuck, my goals, I just want to fucking eat, but that's what you want in a moment. And having true freedom of the will means that you have the freedom to choose the things that you want to do in the long term versus just always choosing
reacting.
the things that you want in the moment.
Yeah.
That's not true freedom of the will. This is actually something that it's very common in debates of philosophy on just identifying true freedom of the will. And true freedom of the will implies that you have the capacity to say no to things as well and choose other things. So
this reminds me of like a lawyer mentality, or like in law where you have the law and you can fit. I just talked about this when we talked the other day. But you can you have freedom, but it's still under the rules and regulations. But if you get a really good attorney, they can figure out how to make the most of the restriction. Like, you have a lot of freedom underneath this, and there are a lot of different scenarios that still are legal, even though they might look completely different. So that's how I kind of think about, like, during a push phase, you just gained, 100 more calories a day. Dude, you can have like sauce, like you can make a whole different cuisine to your meal.
You can add sauce to every meal with 100 calories.
You could have some cheese,
And cheese, yep.
you can do all kinds of different things with food.
Well, it's the
Makes it
thing
more
that the
interesting.
people don't want like more freedom. They actually want to get the results without having to have any structure whatsoever. And freedom from structure is just what you see out there on a day to day. It's like look at the normal person walking around Walmart. That's freedom from structure. So if you want to live with freedom of structure, you're gonna end up reaping that. Like you're gonna get the benefits of that type of action. You are the outcome will come. From those actions.
So to answer, he does give more freedom to clients during push phases. Just not your definition of freedom. I've never been super lean. Last time I got fit, I was about this lean, 15%. How functional or practical is it overall if I did want to be more defined?
So I don't remember who said this, but in general, staying lean is better for your health metrics, for the timeline of growing, and for your appetite. But we also need to consider that if you get leaner, could be that your appetite is uncontrollable. So if you've been struggling to stay on plan and you're 15%, what makes you think that being leaner is going to make things easier? So that's why a lot of people, it's like, man, I just need to lock in and everything. I was like, no. You need to accept that currently the best outcome for you is being 20% body fat. That's why I'm like, all of these fucking like, oh, like just 90 days, I'm going to fucking lock in and I'm going to do it all and everything. I'm like, are you though?
Yeah.
Because life, you know what I'm saying? And also like impulses in your brain, like the stories that your brain are telling you about how hard this shit is and everything. So like you got to account for all of these things at the same time. And it's not something that's easy because you could just be listening to these fucking false narratives that are not yours, that are just your hunger. You could also be having like unrealistic goals, or it could just be that what you are thinking about is actually a good idea, and like having an objective look near you is always going to be better than just on your own, just like,
because you'll bring balance to these things.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you still have the mindset of like, you need to be disciplined.
Yeah.
Take it a day at a time. Stick
Yeah.
to your thing. But your goals have to be, your day-to-day goals need to be reasonably achievable within, I don't know how to describe it, but there's got to be a balance between your determination, your willpower, all of that, your ability to be like organized and make it happen with all your stuff you have going on in your life, and your weaknesses and your weak points. And if you keep falling into this, well, it could be that maybe you're not disciplined, maybe you're not organized, but if you like you have this mindset of you want to be disciplined and you want to lock in, and then you have the organization part down, but you keep falling into this, well, maybe it's like you're saying, the body fat just needs to come up a little bit until we can make all those different things align, you know?
But in general, you want to be as lean as you can be. That gives you as much wiggle room as possible for you to do things every now and then, and also still look good. Like I got to 9% and I'm like 17% right now. Been over a year, man. It's been over a year of several days of me just eating whatever the fuck I want. And I still have abs. You can still see separation in my quads. You can see veins all over my arms. Like, so if you actually put in the work, you're gonna get the benefits of that. It's just like saving money. It's like, oh, like I've never saved this much money before, but like I could get an extra job to just save a little bit more. Like, what do you think about that? I'm like, well, it could wreck you because it's a lot of stress, but also it's gonna be so good for you. Like once you're done, could have a rebound effect where you just spend way more and you end up in a worse spot than before, but also could be pretty fucking good, you know? Yeah, be as lean as you can.
I'm redefining failure in my training. Instead of pushing until I physically can't complete another rep, I'm now choosing to stop when my reps begin to noticeably slow down. But why make this change? Why is it important? And how is this shift a step forward in training more effectively?
What a dumb person to ask me this.
Did I ask this question?
It was you.
I didn't know that I had asked this.
So the primary reason for you is because of fatigue management. So we got you to the point where you've learned what true failure feels like, where you are literally terrified of what the fuck is going to happen at this leg
Getting
press.
stuck at the bottom.
Getting stuck and like multiple times and just like pushing so much you're screaming and you're pulling muscles in different parts of your body because of like pushing to fail. That's failure. So she learned what failure actually is. And because of that, it's like, okay, now we need to look at what is creating the biggest detriment for your life. And in this case, it's like, is it better to you that you can do shorter sessions and be out of the gym like easier? Yeah. But at the same time, like if that makes work so much harder, if that makes your sleep so much more difficult, then it's not worth it. It's better for you to actually get to work later. It's better for you to like actually get better sleep for us to have that, benefit, so to speak. So it's all about changing like nodes, right? So like you've probably seen that meme where it's like you want to be like rich, you want to have time, you want to be like happy. And it's like I want to be happy and I want to have time. You're not going to be rich. I want to be rich and I want to be happy. You're not going to have time. It's like all these like different things. It's like you can't have all three: intensity, volume, and frequency. So the intensity was all the way to fuck up, but volume and frequency were low. Now we have more of the volume part and we have less of the intensity part. So that's why we raise your volume again. It's because we need to be able to see progress. We need to see more volume happening in your training as well.
So it is important towards me training more effectively just because of my specific circumstance?
Yes.
Because you had talked about, when you talked about it to me on my check-in, it sounded like something that was like graduating to the next level.
It is graduating because now you know what failure actually looks like. You know that you can do 3 more reps. But there's a difference. If you don't know that you can do 3 more reps, you might think, oh, I could probably do 3 more. No, you can do 12 more.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was taking your little brother to the gym and he's like, I think I can do 6 reps. And I was like, okay. Bro did like 18.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and he's like, oh man, I was sore for days after that. And I'm like, yeah, because you can't gauge how far you are from failure at that point yet, So,
okay.
Yeah. Let's move on to rapid fire.
Here we go. How do I know if I'm eating enough protein to grow?
Are you growing? Fuck yes. No, I'm just kidding. Enough protein to grow. Just aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. I don't give a shit what the science-based community has been saying about you only needed to eat 0.7 or 0.6 or 0.8 grams. Like, don't do that. More protein is better.
Is it normal to feel bloated and sluggish when you increase calories?
Yes, it is normal. It's part of digestion. It's part of processing more food. Don't worry about it.
How do you stay consistent with meal prep when appetite goes up and down?
You do your meal prep regardless. You just eat the food that's in the plan regardless. Like, you don't spend money based on what you feel like. You spend money based on your budget.
And I would also say, which we talked about this before, is to separate your prep from your food consumption. So nothing that I'm not eating food while I'm prepping my meal.
Yeah.
Prepping my meal is like folding my laundry.
Yeah.
And I'm not eating my laundry. So you do that. And
Perfect analogy.
So then by the time I go to eat, I'm just grabbing whatever is already prepared and then I'm eating it, but the prep is completely separate. And so if you're not feeling hungry when you're prepping food, who cares? If you're feeling hungry when you're prepping food, who cares? You're not eating. So then when you go to eat, whether you're hungry or not at that time, your food's there and it's just easy. All you got to do is shovel it in.
Yep.
What's the best rep range for hypertrophy? 6 to 8 or 10 to 12, or does it not matter?
Granted that you are getting close enough to failure, anything from 5 to 30 reps is going to put on muscle at approximately the same rate. However, it's hard to gauge failure once you are at those higher rep ranges. So in general, we know that anything closer to 85% of your 1 rep max, which puts you in that around that 10 rep range, is going to be good. So like if your joints allow and if you're able to, just everything in that like 8 to 12 rep range is actually going to be pretty good, with the occasional dip something a little bit less reps, or something a little bit higher reps, just based on your joints and like your need or something like that.
Do I have to keep adding weight to the bar every week to build muscle?
You don't add weights to the bar to build muscle. Adding weight to the bar is a consequence of you having built muscle. So people they obsess over progressive overload because they essentially misunderstand what progressive overload is. It is an outcome. It is not the basis of.
How do you know if the weight you're gaining is muscle or fat?
Do you look softer? If so, it's fat. Do you look harder? If so, it's muscle. Very easy.
Do women need to train differently than men to gain size?
No, they don't. They train exactly the same. All of the studies that we have that have tried to cycle sync, which is a big scam, but women fall for a lot of scams in the fitness space. It's just true. They all demonstrated that there's no difference in like trying to match your cycle or anything like that. Yeah. Now there are exceptions. There are probably some people that need that. We've had it with you, like when you've had like some cycles that were pretty bad, we deloaded you on those weeks or just made a little bit lighter sessions.
But it
and
was
stuff.
a lot to do with stress and
Yes,
mental fatigue
exactly.
and stuff. A lot more than like me being able to squat the same amount or
Yep.
something. So when I read this, I actually thought about doing exercises in a different way.
Oh, okay. No, also no.
But I was,
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
guess.
Also no. Like if you want your boobs to look more like lift up, you are going to train chest just like a guy. Like if you want your back to look good when you're wearing a dress, you're gonna have to lift just like a guy. It's not even like lift like a guy, because there's some girls that can lift way harder than guys. It's just you just lift hard. That's it.
Yeah.
Regardless
I
of
can do,
your genitalia.
he told me that he was jealous of my RDLs the other day.
I am jealous of her
How far I
RDLs. That
can
shit
go
goes
down.
deep, man. Fuck.
My hamstrings are flexible. If my strength is going up, but the scale isn't, am I still growing muscle?
Potentially, it's not such an easy answer. A lot of people will say yes, but that's not entirely true, because a lot of strength adaptations are neuroadaptations, meaning they happen in your brain, not in your muscle. So, could be the case, could not be the case, but you have to just look at your trends over time. Look at that's why I like body weight to just keep trending up during a push phase, because it just makes it easy for us to tell that there's progression actually happening.
How much cardio should I keep during a bulk so I don't get out of shape?
You don't bulk, because that's stupid, but you do
During a push phase.
Yeah, you maintain cardio to follow the guidelines, the recommended guidelines for health, which I don't remember off the top of my head, but just look that up online for just general health. I believe it's something like I don't remember. There's like X minutes of vigorous activity a week or something like that. You just do that. That's the bare minimum. So you do that. But you've got to count your lifting into that. If you're posing, you got to count your posing into that.
Is it okay if my abs disappear during a bulk, or is that a sign I'm doing it wrong?
A lot of people say never lose your abs, but that's I think that's a misunderstanding of how body fat is distributed in the whole body, because some people just have body fat that just is more present in the abdomen area, plus they have shallow abs. Like a lot of people are very strong in ab exercises, but their abs, the insertions are not very short insertions, so they just end up having more flat looking abs. And a lot of people don't train abs correctly. They do like 4 sets a week and they want to have abs. It's like there's no reason to do like 20 sets of quads but then do like 6 sets of abs. Like
I do 2 sets of abs though, so what's
yeah, right now
wrong
you
with
do
mine?
6, but it's because of time management. That's the only reason. Plus you have rods on your back, so you're a little bit of a different case where you can't do so much, So
I am titanium.
exactly.
Why does my appetite suddenly crash halfway through a push phase?
Man, for a myriad of reasons, but it probably is just because you're fucking tired of eating so much food, which I don't know what that feels like. Honestly, I have no idea what that feels like.
I don't really know what that feels like.
Yeah, I have no idea. I get that feeling if I'm taking something like Anadrol, then I may not have the desire to eat, but it's just momentarily. It goes away very, very fast.
It could also be that you, depending on where you're at, you're not fully used to eating boring food, and then when you go to eat a ton of like a bigger quantity of the same boring food, then you just don't find it interesting. And people do eat because they want something interesting, I remember when I couldn't imagine eating the same thing every day. When I was like, when I think
Yeah,
back to
I
what I
remember that.
used to eat, I was like, you were eating random stuff. Like it wasn't anything special. And I never ate out. So it was just like whatever random thing that my mom put together.
Yeah.
Bless her heart. I love my mom. But yeah, my food's much better now if I
Yeah.
think about it. How do you stay motivated when the scale goes up, but you just look softer?
I mean, you don't have to look motivated. You probably have to reduce your calories a little bit because you just look softer. Now, it could also be that you just have some type of dysmorphia where you think you look softer, but if you don't have your check-in pictures consistent under the same lighting, in the same place with the same camera every single time, you might just not be able to even assess that. That's why I teach my clients how to take photos for their check-ins. And if they listen, I don't get upset. But if they don't listen, it pisses me off because I made a 15-minute video just teaching them how to get photos. But in any case, I don't hold grudges. I remember exactly the name of the people that don't do it. But yeah, you don't need to be motivated. You just need to remember that you have a goal, and your goal requires specific sacrifices. And the sacrifice during a cut might be to say no to food, and a sacrifice during a push phase might be that you're saying no to having abs and looking your best, so to speak. Yeah.
How do you mentally deal with buying bigger clothes during a bulk?
I enjoy it. I like buying bigger clothes because it means that I'm bigger. I don't struggle with this at all. Yeah.
I mean, as a female, I can imagine I don't really buy clothes that often, but like if you are trying to stay in the current styles or like you have your cute little outfit and then now like your jeans don't fit and so you're having to like buy a bigger size or something. I mean, I can't imagine growing that quickly.
As if buying clothes is something that's hard for women. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't mentally deal with it. How might a client mentally deal with it?
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you deal with like mentally with buying bigger clothes? You're getting fucking bigger. What are you complaining about? And you get to buy clothes. Like what the fuck? I don't understand the question.
I think that they're likely implying that it is like a celebratory act to buy clothes in a smaller size because oh look, you lost weight. But then to buy it in a bigger size, it feels kind of like a step backwards. You know, when a client can give.
Yeah, but that was just you being stupid, getting rid of your clothes when you got leaner. What?
Okay. Okay, so
Sorry.
you don't. You deal with it on your own. Go talk to your therapist.
Fuck off.
Go talk to your therapist. Is there a best season to start a push phase?
No,
Season
not really.
meaning like the temperature
Time of the
outside?
year, yes,
Okay.
because people are like, well, I'm gonna bulk during the winter and then cut during the summer. I much rather start cutting during the the spring so that you look good during the summer and you're already bringing calories up so you look full. Cutting during the summer fucking sucks,
So
man.
bulk during the fall.
Don't bulk.
Okay. Well, these people keep saying bulk.
And
Push
you don't
phase
need
during
to
the
grow
fall.
during the fall. You need more than 4 months to grow.
For real, but this is my idea,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so you do your bulk, your push phase, during the fall and then into winter. Then you get on a health phase. That's
If you need
reasonable if you need it, and you work that until spring. Then you go on a cut, but you do not cut during Christmas.
Your best results will come if you don't give a shit about what time of the year it is. Like that's
True.
just true. It doesn't matter if you have people coming over, if there's a photo shoot or anything like that. Like your results will come best if you just stick to the phases and like you let that be your calendar, not anything else.
Would you, like if you had a client though that was competing in a show, then you would do the push phases and the cuts and everything around that show?
Yes.
So why can't you have that same concept with all of your clients if they have a particular time of year that they want to be looking
I do.
their version of show ready?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if they did want
look,
to be show ready.
If you want to look leaner for the summer, we start cutting you in the spring.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on how many weeks you need.
So it depends on the client's goals.
Depends on the client's goals and it depends how fat they are.
True. What supplements actually help with muscle gain, or is it all food?
It's primarily all food, sorry. For girls, some supplements can help, like ashwagandha to raise testosterone, DHEA to raise testosterone. regulate prolactin and things like that. Like indirectly melatonin because it's going to help you with your sleep. Vitamin D because it's going to raise your testosterone. There's some other supplements that can like lower your SHBG, but it's very, very mild and it's very person dependent. Even creatine, it's like it can help you get another rep or two, but that doesn't. It's there's a whole thing with people saying that creatine doesn't cause muscle growth. I disagree. I think it does contribute to creating an environment that is going to be more beneficial for muscle growth. Creatine, I think it's the number one here. Yeah, if you're able to take it, take it. And then if we are considering PEDs, performance enhancing drugs, which is not the same thing as a steroid. Please do not say it's the same thing as a fucking steroid, okay? Vitamin D is a steroid, okay? Clenbuterol is a performance enhancing drug that is not a steroid, so don't get this shit fucking confused. But in any case, if you're considering anabolic androgenic steroids, AASs, then all anabolic androgenic steroids accrue tissue at approximately the same rate per the study that we have on rats. Per the study comparing nandrolone and testosterone in humans, we see that's approximately the same rate. I think they gain 3.4 kilograms in testosterone over the course of 6 weeks and 3.1 over the with nandrolone over the course of 6 weeks. If you were to extrapolate that to like 200 weeks, it would be a difference of 3 grams total. So it's not really significant. They all accrue muscle to the same rate. So choose based on the side effects. Choose based on what you can tolerate, not based on what's, like going to give you the most muscle. Like, oh, I took Dianabol and I grew so fast. It's like, no, you became a water buffalo. That's different. You look very cute.
I think that she lost her abs.
She did.
Can I touch your belly? So you can until you let me bite you.
Okay.
Do you have to track every gram of food in a bulk, or can you eyeball meals?
You can eyeball meals. You're definitely going to be bulking if you do that. Or not. Or you're just going to end up not eating enough. But, you have free will. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it. You're an adult. But if you want to get the best results, you're going to weigh your food.
Is it possible to gain muscle while still losing fat?
Yes, it is. We already addressed that. It's very possible. It happens a lot. So I'm not going to dwell on that one too long. It's possible, happens a lot, but it's more likely to happen if you're a beginner, if you're just starting out, or if you just added hormones in the mix. It's basically like you're a beginner once again. So you get a lot of these benefits as well. So we can push things. I have some clients that are starting testosterone and things like that, and it's like they are starting lean. So it's like, man, we're going to be able to push this very well. It's going to be pretty fucking cool, and I'm very excited. But in any case, thank you guys for sending these questions. I really appreciate it. I am about ready to go eat my food now and rest a little bit so I can sleep, because sleep last night was not the best. So I'm pretty freaking tired. But I appreciate you guys sending the questions. Thank you guys for your love and your support. Please send more questions so we can continue talking about this stuff. And next week we're going to have a new podcast episode for you guys. So you guys stay tuned every Friday. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Peace out.
Do you want to say something? Can I talk? Okay. Very good.
Gorkos, do you want to say something to the camera?
Say something.
Oh, she buried her face.